Welcome back, my humanoids, to this crazy ship I'll call StarDust. I'm your Captain Mercury here to entertain you. And let's talk about some dead things. Well, no one's surprised, except maybe Google. I swear, the only thing to ever come out of Google Stadia was Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo deciding to work together because they felt like Google's billions of dollars might hurt them a little bit. Oh my god, were they wrong? Because they got Sony and Xbox to share exclusive and infrastructure for streaming, which only probably helped them both get to where they want to get faster. Let's count all the ways and what sealed the coffin for Google Stadia in such a comical way. First, to start with what's most important, not giving their first party studios a chance to shine. They shut that shit down so fast. Employees didn't even know, and Google was such a bitch. Management just told them a week prior that shit was going good, Gucci great. They told him that with a straight face. I mean, for one thing, at least Google is really good at making us laugh, like spending millions and millions of dollars on AAA titles that have been out for years. They said, fuck indie, we're gonna take a giant shit on that. That don't matter. Indies don't matter. In-party studios don't matter. It's all about these really old AAA games. Like, you don't need a business degree to see how everything Google Stadia did is trash. I cannot be mad at developers for taking advantage of that. Like, it was probably in the bucket of how much Google has anyway. Another important point was Google Stadia was now a replacement for hardware and consoles. For one, you were more expensive. Not only did you have to pay for the subscription service, you had to pay for the Chromecast, you had to pay for the game again, full price. Ridiculous. In a time where everybody was pretty much going broke. Sometimes when I look at this particular fact, I wonder how they even lasted as long as they did, which was a few years. The universe throw Google Studios two bones. One, Cyberpunk worked best on Google Stadia. Two, the panini, where everybody was trapped at home playing video games. Oh, I forgot a third one. There was a chip shortage. So PS5s and Xbox were hard, especially PS5s, were hard to come by. And all the scalpers who were bulk ordering the systems, and Google in their infinite wisdom could not take advantage of that. Did Google care about data caps? No, they couldn't care less about fucking data caps. It wasn't cheaper. The Chromecast didn't work with a lot of things. You couldn't play it other places. You couldn't invite your friends. There was no search bar. Like, you do not need a business degree. Like Google. No, you're Google. Where's your search bar, bro? And the reason no gamers feel bad about this is because it wasn't about the gaming world. It wasn't about the love of the art for games and single players and multiplayers and like the detail and creation and thought that goes into it. It was just about Google owning another space. But this is a space that takes dedication, years, and loyalty. For this, Google lacks all of them. Cool tech was never going to be enough. For those who it was enough for, that was such a minute percentage. I feel like Google really believed they did something here with Google Stadia. Speaking of dead things, let's talk about E3. This was another foreseeable death that was rushed by the panini and E3's lack of ability to keep up. It was obvious in 2019 with the overcrowding and the broken promises. Like, people don't want to go to a showcase for a game that is going to come out way later than it said or broken. Not to mention the huge fuck-ups of doxing all the reporters. Doxing of the media. Like, that was freaking insane. I wouldn't want to go if I was in media. Like, it wasn't just the pandemic. So E3 can say all they want. It wasn't just a pandemic. Another reason, they were too expensive to have a booth or a section at E3. Companies now have learned if there's a way to save money by streaming things, they're going to. We all know Jeff Keighley is laughing all the way to the bank. He saw it. He saw the writing on the walls. Granted, he made his own Summer Game Fest. It's not as big as E3, but like I said, things take time. Things in this space takes time to garner fan bases. But Summer Game Fest do have all the markings of something that could replace E3 in a few years. And gaming companies, developers and publishers were gonna go to E3 this year, but E3 themselves didn't give them clarification. Everything was up in the air, so they decided, I'm just gonna pull out. We don't even know. It's weeks ahead of events, and we don't even know. When usually they know months in advance. Not as important, but this happened before the Panini journalists were doxxed. They also wanted to focus on influencer, another space that's putting an emphasis on influencer. That was also killing it. Here's the thing, I do not hate E3, but well, it's not as good as it once was. It probably won't be for the next couple of years because they say there's a possibility to come back. And I do believe nostalgia is a thing. The idea of having like a gaming Comic-Con or a place where like-minded people can meet up, it's an amazing idea. And seeing the booths and the voice actors and the developers and publishers and all the cosplay, like that is very appealing to many people. But right now, nothing is really being offered, just crowds and broken promises. I give it about 5 years before E3 might make a comeback. I do believe they're going to try before then, but I personally don't think that's long enough for their nostalgia to kick in. And they have to convince the big three that it's more worth it to be at E3 than save a shit ton of money doing streaming it online, which has been working incredibly. People have fond memories of E3. I have fond memories of E3. I don't want to see it die this way, but they need to get their shit together. As for Google Stadia, please rot in the ground. Please rot in the Google graveyard. Never return. Ever. Well, humanoids, thanks for having this conversation with me. This has been stuck in my noggin for quite some time. Because I am just baffled by the obvious errors by like top tier companies. So fucking weird. It's so fucking weird. Thank you, humanoids. Leave your opinions down on the comments because I know you will. I stream KOTOR and I stream Monster Hunter with tips and tricks if you want to join me for that. I also record Destroy All Humans, Alice, Nightmare Return. Thank you for joining me on the StarDust. Do good things for goodness sake, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mercury out.